These are two real horror stories told by doctors who experienced them firsthand. Events that took place in the quiet, sterile hallways of hospitals where not every patient stays dead. Turn off the lights, put on your headphones, and listen closely. I'm a doctor. I don't believe in ghosts. Or at least I didn't. Not until one night in 2018. During a night shift I'll never forget. I was a third-year resident in internal medicine, doing my rounds at Street Clears, an old Catholic hospital tucked in the quiet side of town, built in the 1942nd. Creaky floors, long, dim corridors. The kind of place where lights flicker not because of ghosts, but because the wiring is older than half the staff. It was just past 2 a.m. The halls were dead quiet, no pun intended. I was making my usual rounds in the East Wing where palliative care patients stayed. That night, we only had 5 patients, all of them stable. Most of the wing was dark, with only the emergency lights casting a dull orange glow. As I passed room 318, I glanced through the little glass window on the door out of habit. The patient, Mr. Lowell, an elderly man with late-stage Parkinson's, was fast asleep. Then I saw her, not inside the room, but at the end of the hallway, just standing there. A woman in a pale blue hospital gown, barefoot, hair long and stringy, hanging over her shoulders. Her skin was impossibly pale, like old wax. She stood perfectly still, facing the wall, not me. At first, I thought it was just a confused patient from another wing. Sometimes, psych patients wonder if they slip past security. "Ma'am," I called out. She didn't respond, didn't move. I took a step toward her. "Are you alright? Do you need help?" She didn't turn, just disappeared. I mean it. One blink she was there. The next, she was gone. Not like someone walking out of sight, gone like smoke. I froze. Every hair on my body stood up. I'm trained to stay calm. I've seen people crash in front of me. I've pronounced deaths. But this shook me. Still, I tried to rationalize it. Sleep deprivation. Shadow and light playing tricks. I walked to where she stood. Nothing. No footprints. No sound. Just a cold, heavy air, heavier than the rest of the hallway. I forced myself to finish my rounds and return to the nurse's station, but I couldn't shake the feeling. So I asked the night nurse, Julia, if she's seen anyone in the East Wing. She looked up slowly and said, "You saw her, didn't you?" My stomach dropped. "Who?" She paused, then said, "The woman in the gown." She went on to tell me that several night staff has seen her over the years. Always in the East Wing, always around 2 to 3 a.m. Always standing at the end of the hallway, sometimes facing you, sometimes the wall. She was nicknamed the Hallway Woman. Some believe she was a patient who died decades ago during a failed surgery. Others said she was a nun who'd committed suicide in that wing when it used to be a convent ward. No one knew for sure. I didn't sleep the next day. I wanted to believe it was all just a hallucination. Maybe my mind playing tricks on me. Until the following week. It was another night shift. Same hallway. This time, I was checking room 320. The patient inside, a middle-aged woman recovering from cardiac surgery, was having trouble sleeping and asked for something mild. As I was adjusting her IV, she suddenly looked toward the doorway and froze. "Doctor," she whispered, there's someone standing there. I turned immediately. Nothing. Empty hallway. But the woman wouldn't stop staring. She was there, she said. She was standing right there, pale, hair in her face. My hands went cold. 2 nights later, she called it at 3 or 4 a.m. She never recovered. I've seen her 2 more times since. Always the same. Same gown, same posture, same stillness. No sound, no expression. She never speaks, never approaches. She just stands there, watching. I've tried to find her in security footage. She never appears. But I know what I saw. So do the others. And now, when I train younger residents, I never tell them the story directly. But I warn them, if you're ever in the East Wing around 2 a.m. and see someone just standing there, don't follow, don't call out. And whatever you do, don't blink. It was a little past 3 a.m. when the paramedics brought in the Jane Doe. She had been found unconscious near an abandoned subway entrance. Mid-42nd, thin, wearing a tattered red coat soaked with rain and blood. No ID. No one claimed her. When they wheeled her in, I was in the middle of writing up a discharge note for a sprained wrist. But something about the way they rolled her in, her head slightly turned, her mouth parted, just so felt off. Not medically. Just wrong. The ER at night has a rhythm. Chaos, lulls, sudden bursts of activity. But that night, everything felt muted. Even the fluorescent lights seemed dimmer. When I approached her gurney, the monitors hadn't been attached yet. I leaned in to check her pupils. She opened her eyes. No blink, just wide, unblinking stare. Her irises were a pale gray. Not cataract clouded, more like old marble. And then she whispered, "You're not supposed to see me yet." I froze. I looked at the nurse beside me, but she was focused on taping down an IV line. "Did you hear that?" I asked. "Hear what?" "The patient." She said something. The nurse glanced up. "Doc, she's unresponsive. GCS 3. No verbal, no eye movement. Look, her pupils are fixed." And they were. She was right. Fixed and dilated. But I swear she had just looked at me and spoken. We admitted her to observation, pending scans. I returned to my desk, but every few minutes I found myself glancing toward her room. Curtains drawn, but I could see the vague outline of her through the fabric. Still as stone. Around 4:20 a.m., the cardiac monitor in her room flatlined. I rushed in with the crash team. She was cold. Rigor had set in fast. Too fast. We called it time of death, 4:27 a.m. As we zipped her into the body bag, I felt it again. That wrongness. Like something was watching. That's when the lights in the ER flickered, and the hallway monitor, an old CRT screen that we hadn't used in years, flicked on. Static at first. Then, a frame, black and white. The hallway, but not now. It looked older, like footage from the 92nd. A woman in a red coat walked down the corridor. She looked directly at the camera, at us. I checked the timestamp. The 13th of August, 1994. Exactly 22 years ago to the day. We all just stood there, silent. A nurse mumbled, "What the hell?" Then the screen flickered again and shut off. Dead. We pulled the security logs. No archive footage. Nothing was supposed to be displayed. No power to that system. No reason it should have turned on. Later that morning, As the sun was coming up, the orderly came to transfer her body to the morgue. Except, the body was gone. The gurney was empty. We searched the ER, the corridors. Security reviewed all exits. No camera showed her leaving. No staff saw anything. It was like she'd vanished. I didn't talk about it for a long time, but a few months later, an intern found a stack of old case files while reorganizing the ER storage room. One was for a woman named Lila Tran, admitted in 1994, brought in after collapsing at an abandoned subway entrance. No ID, red coat, mid 42nd. She died in the ER. Time of death, 4:27 a.m., the 13th of August. There was a photo paperclip to the file, grainy, but it was her. Same pale eyes, same parted mouth, same coat. I've worked in trauma for over 15 years. I've seen people brought back from the brink and others fade away with no warning. But this wasn't a misdiagnosis. This wasn't a mistake. It was something else. Something that doesn't belong in charts or textbooks. Now, every year on the 13th of August, I check that old CRT screen in the hallway. It's always dead. But one day, I know it'll flicker back to life. And when it does, I won't be the only one watching. If you enjoyed these stories, don't forget to subscribe for more. We share real tales of the paranormal, told by those who lived through them. Until next time, stay safe and don't look back in the dark.